Camelot doesn't last forever. If it did, it would just be Tuesday, right? So, listen, they're in a weird way, depending on the injury to Mahomes, I actually think in some ways the season could end up serving them well down the line, into the future. Because, look, this team is probably needed to reset now for a couple of years, and they didn't last year because they were going for a three-peat, and to their credit, found a way to get to the Super Bowl. Then they get into this year, and it's really, I would tell you honestly, I don't think there's that much difference between this year and last year's team, except for the fact that in last year's edition, they found every way to make a play at the end of the game. And this year, they found every way to lose the game. I think that's been the only difference with this team, just the one-score records. They were 12-0 last year, 1-7 this year. I think moving forward, and I can tell you from talking to people in the organization, I know that for a fact, they know they need to revamp their offensive scheme. Their offensive scheme is not good. They need to find a competent running back. Their running back room is the worst running back room in football. Defensively, they have to find a pass rush that goes along with Jones and Karlaftis. They had nobody who was even worth talking about all year next to those guys. So I think those are going to be the priorities, and maybe even adding another receiver alongside Rice and Worthy, because I think they feel like they need another body in there. But let's be honest, all this comes down to how quickly does Mahomes recover. If it's 9 months, he's back week 1. If it's longer than that, you got a problem.
And it could be. I mean, with ACL injuries, who the hell knows? And when you come back from an ACL injury, how good are you that first year back anyway? And then you start asking the question, and I brought this up in the big story, and I'll ask you. And I don't mean this in an insulting way to what Patrick Mahomes has meant to this team in this league, but do you think about drafting a quarterback if one falls to you in this draft?
No. I think I can't quite quote this guy on this because it's not for families. But Tom Moore used to coach the Colts, the offensive coordinator for the Colts when Peyton Manning was there. And one of the reporters asked Tom Moore, everywhere else I've been, the backup always gets a series or two in every practice and gets reps. Why is it that you don't do that here? And Tom Moore looked at the reporter and said, because if 18 goes down, we're effed. And we don't practice effed. And I think for the Chiefs, he's 30 years old. He's the franchise. I think what you do is I think if you're the Chiefs, if you're Brett Veach, you plan this offseason around the idea of that he will be back week 1. That is just, I think, now look, maybe you re-sign Minshew, you have a decent backup, whatever. But your thought process, I believe, has to be, we are building the absolute best team around this guy.